Hi, this is Mr. Holding, and this video is quickly looking at Z-scores in relation to comparing pieces of data. Now, I've got two pieces of data here, English and maths results, and I've got them in percentages, so they're comparable. So on face value, you look at them and go, okay, well, the person did better in English, they got 73%, as opposed to maths, who got 64%. Okay, and looking at the raw score, that may be that may be accurate. Okay, the English score is higher. However, what it doesn't take into account is the difficulty of the subject. So, for example, he may have got, or she or whoever may have got 73%, but the class average might have been 90. So, in that case, it's not very good. And likewise with maths, the class average might have been 50, and this person got 64. So they've done significantly better relative to everybody else. Okay, so it's important to do that, and Z-scores are a way of doing that. Okay, basically what they allow you to do is create an idea of how well this score is in relation to not only the mean but the standard deviation. Okay, so in order to calculate the the Z-score, I should say, we use this equation here. So the Z-score equals the score itself minus the average over the standard deviation. Now, standard deviation is this sigma symbol. Sometimes you'll see it written as S. I'll write that a little bit thicker so you can see. It's the same equation on both these two here, but I've just used the sigma symbol instead of S for standard deviation. Depending on how your teacher wants you to do that, it's up to you. So in order to do that, we need to do it for both these scores. Okay, so here I've written in, I've read through the question, and it said that, Sam got 73% on his English and 64% on his math. The class average for English was 75% with a standard deviation of 10. For maths, the average was 59 with a standard deviation of 5. So I then go list my variables. Okay, so my score for English is 73%. My average is 75%, or the class average, and my standard deviation there is 10. I then want to go and write my equation. Minus that all over sigma, which is standard deviation, which is 73 minus 75, so my answer is going to be negative, all over 10, which equals negative 2 over 10. I'll get my calculator in there, and my answer is negative 0.2. Okay, so that's my Z-score for English. I'll quickly go and do that for maths. So I've done that here, the working on the right-hand side for my maths. Okay, use the same equation, followed it through, and I ended up with Z equals 1. All right. You can't see that, but I'll make that a bit more clearer. So for English, my Z-score, the Z-score of Sam is negative 0.2, and for maths, it's positive 0.1. Now, there's a couple of things to be aware of. If you are looking at, if an outcome is positive, the higher it is, we're looking for the highest Z-score. So for example, on an exam, you want the highest possible percentage. So, we want 100%. Okay, so we want the biggest Z-score. If this was just a positive 0.2 and this was positive +1, it would still be 1 because 1 is higher than that. 1 is still higher than negative 0.2, so this is the one we want. If your desirable scores are lower, so for example, we were doing a running race, and obviously running races, you want to have the lowest possible time, the winner runs the lowest time, you would do the opposite. So the Z-score, you would want the smallest Z-score. But in this case, you want the highest one. So to answer this question, which was, which subject did this person do better in, you would say they did better in maths because they had a Z-score of 1, which is significantly higher than English's Z-score of negative 0.2. You could talk about the fact that they were higher. They were higher than the average, whereas the person over here wasn't. You could also talk about the fact that they are 1 full standard deviation away, whereas this person is only 0.2 of a standard deviation away. So there's a number of things. So when you're asked to do that, it's more than just simply going, oh, it's this one here. It's this one here. Why? You can also obviously point out the fact that it's, the positive outcome is high, it's the highest score. So therefore, you're looking for a positive, the higher Z score of a positive one. If it happened to be two negatives, you would look for the one that's still the highest. Okay, hope you found this helpful.